Sandwich, yummy!
Okay, welcome. This is episode 8 of EdTech Sandwich. You got right over there Mr. Brett Foster.
Across the way is Mr. Martin Park.
And we are at one of Brett's favorite restaurants. It's his choice. Brett, tell us about where we are and what.
We are at Winchell's over on Southland Drive here in Lexington, Kentucky. It is a family sports bar. How about that?
So, Brett, what do you eat?
Well, you know, Marty, I'm a rebel. I know this is EdTech Sandwich, but when I'm at Winchell's, it's got to be a meat and two, buddy. And today, I've gone with the trout plate with a little mac and cheese.
Here, let me get you a little.
There we go. Put that on there. Ooh, mac and cheese and a little Brussels sprout action.
Right.
Love it.
So, of course,
What do you got over there?
If you're an avid viewer of EdTech Sandwich, you know that I'm a big fan of the Rachel. So this is the turkey Rachel from Winchell's. I'm pumped to eat it, and a little side note of beets.
Or as our waitress had to call them, purple cookies.
Purple cookies. All right, so let's get right into it. It's going to be a quick session, or a quick episode of EdTech Sandwich, but we're pumped about what we're bringing you. Brett, why don't you lead off with our first topic?
Okay. Well, you know, we were talking about getting things done in the last episode, and a big part of getting things done is actually being organized. And I noticed that my computer bag was probably one of the most unorganized, besides my car, one of the most unorganized places in my life. And so, you know, my bag was just getting bogged down with cables and wires all at the bottom of the bag, and then my bag couldn't even stand up straight anymore. So I went out and I looked for a solution, and I found this solution called the Gridded by Cocoon. Cocoon.
Do you have it pulled up on your screen?
I do. It's up on my screen right now. It's cocooninnovations.com. However, I got one of these gridded little things here, and I'm going to show it to you. Look, all my cables and everything are right here. And
What
when I'm
happens if you shake it? What happens if you shake it?
it don't go nowhere. It's stuck.
Nice.
And so you just have these little straps that you lift up, slide stuff under, you organize it. It's incredible. It gives more structure to your bag. It's like it holds it up a little bit better and it keeps everything organized.
Awesome. So I'm going to hit on three things straightforward. I think they're all Microsoft products. You know, on EdTech Sandwich, we like to look at obviously the folks who are doing stuff innovative, and we also look to look at the big guys. So Google, Microsoft, Apple. First thing we'll look at is the OneNote app that we've used on iOS devices for a while. The big deal that came out with OneNote, we've had it on the iPhone for a while. We actually use the OneNote app and OneNote
SkyDrive app too.
So we'll get to that. We also use OneNote to kind of track our episodes, and so we can share that back and forth. But the big deal about OneNote is that the iPad OneNote app came out. So it's kind of like OneNote HD. And you can do a lot of things on that. And it's, I'm kind of liking it so far. I found some flaws. One flaw that we saw with that is sharing. And so I have a shared OneNote piece with Brett, and he's having trouble seeing that on his iPhone. But I'm sure that'll get figured out. The other thing that came out, Brett just mentioned, is the SkyDrive app. And so a couple real quick things about that is you can see your documents really well. You can push video and pictures to your SkyDrive from the app. But I haven't found a way to push documents. So if I get a document in an email, and then what do I do with that? And I really want that in my SkyDrive via the app, and I haven't really found a way to do that.
Like for example, the OneNote, I saw that in my SkyDrive app on my iPhone,
right,
but I couldn't open it up and look at it in the OneNote app.
Right. You can look at Word documents, Excel documents, and PowerPoints in the SkyDrive app, but you cannot see the contents of a OneNote file. So they're still working through some kinks, but I think it is a good move, a good push. I've got one other Microsoft piece, but Brett, why don't you go?
You know, we a few episodes back, we were looking at all the new tablets that were coming out, and just wanted to share real quick, we have the Kindle Fire tablet here now, and I've been using this for probably, well, I got it the week that it came out, and I will have to say, of all the Android tablets that I've have used and have looked at, this is by far the best one. It's still got a few little tweaks it's going to have to work out before I think that districts might want to purchase it and distribute it out.
Right.
And I think that they're starting to kind of already see that and address that a little bit because they're getting ready to put an OS update on it here in the next few days. But it is, I find it to be very responsive. I find the web app or the browser in it to be sufficient to do, a lot of the browsing that I do on the internet. It has Flash built into it. Not that that's a big deal anymore, but it's there. The only drawback to it is the screen size on browsing the web. You're going to do a lot of zooming in and zooming out. But as far as a reader is concerned, Kindle can't do any better than that. This does not have the ink screen. It's a backlit screen, so if you're a power reader like my mother who reads like 5 books a week, your eyes are going to get tired pretty fast on this. But as far as a tablet is concerned, it's the best tablet that I've used outside of the iPad. So at $199, I think we're going to see a lot of them with in your BYOD districts. You're going to see a lot of these coming in after the Christmas break. So thumbs up on the Kindle Fire. I like it a lot. Marty, what's the last thing you want to share real quick for today?
So, I've been playing around quite a bit with Live Mesh, and a couple big deals about Live Mesh. We've talked about it before on the show, but I've seen some pretty cool updates with Mesh. One is it goes straight to your SkyDrive, so it is a folder in your SkyDrive. You only get 5 gig of space for Mesh, so that adds to your 25 gig in SkyDrive. But the one thing that I did, and I want to show on my screen here, is so I have my Live Mesh folder, and that's a local folder that I put stuff in. So kind of like Dropbox, right? But I can also take that folder, and I can create a shortcut. So I'm finding, and you can see on my screen, I can create and drop this shortcut to my Mesh folder. In my browser here. So what I'm able to do from that, I've always wanted to take an attachment in an email and directly save it to SkyDrive. Well, that's a problem because you can't right-click and save to SkyDrive. But what you can do here is instead of pulling attachments down to your desktop or to your downloads folder, you can save it to this shortcutted folder, which then pushes it straight to Mesh. Okay. And so it's kind of an indirect way. So you have a local copy and then a copy in your SkyDrive. Okay. So it's kind of an indirect way to do that. Now, the problem with that is once it's in Mesh in the browser, you can't click that and edit in browser. Okay. But it is there in case you need it offline or need it while you're connected to another machine or whatever.
Use with proxy or anything like that?
Not with Mesh. And actually, Owensboro Independent, all their students use Mesh quite a bit as that local piece to get stuff into the cloud. So it is interesting. One last thing for you, Brett, just a preview. We will be looking at the Chromebook on next episode. I got the Chromebook in, and we will be using the Sweezy framework for evaluating education technology. And so we'll get into that quite a bit next episode. Anything you have next episode that you're looking at?
Right now, I'm just going to try to get through the holiday season without growing morbidly obese, because that's usually what happens to me. So, getting ready for the holiday season, and want to wish everybody out there a great holiday and a really fun and safe New Year.
All right. We'll see you at episode 9.
Take care.
EdTech Sandwich, your man.